Hello pilot, W here. In this VTOL VR tutorial, I am pleased to introduce you to the F-22A Raptor and instruct you on how to start it up. Please note, the cold start instructions are valid as of January 2026 and may change during the development of this mod. Let's begin by turning the battery to the on position. It's gonna get pretty loud in a moment. Now, let's turn the APU to the on. Time to start the engines. Spool the left engine by moving the engine start switch to the left position. Now, press the engine start button. Once the left engine has achieved adequate RPM, move the engine start switch to the right position. Again, press the engine start button. Now that we have power, let's start some of our systems. Turn on all of the multifunction and mini multifunction displays. Open the radar display on the left MFD. Then, set the top center MFD to open the nav page on the right MFD. Finally, open the SMS page on the left. You can save this MFD preset by pressing and holding the MPD-1 or MPD-2 buttons on the ICP. Next, let's turn on the F-22A's heads-up display and head-mounted queuing system. Grab and hold the rollers on the left side of the IPC. Then, use your VR thumbstick to manipulate the rollers up to the on position. You can also adjust MFD brightness and HUD tint using the rollers on the right side of the IPC. Let's go into more depth regarding the F-22A's radar modes. There are 3 radar modes, PPI, B-scope, and LPI. PBI and B-scope modes are currently available to all aircraft with an air-to-air radar in VTOL VR. To save time, we will gloss over these radar modes. LPI, or Low Probability of Intercept mode, is a radar mode that is new to VTOL VR and exclusive to the Raptor in context of the game. LPI radar is a class of radar systems that possess certain performance characteristics that make them nearly undetectable by today's intercept receivers. LPI mode has multiple features that reduce the probability of intercept. The primary feature applicable to VTOL VR is that LPI mode will use the minimum amount of radar power necessary to detect targets. This may reduce the detection range, but with the benefit that the target has a lower chance of detecting the F-22's radar emissions. You can control LPI mode in the TSD settings. Let's familiarize you more with the Raptor before takeoff. Here is the master arming switch. Next to the master arm is the jettison knob. On the left pedestal is the fuel port and fuel dump switches. Also on the left pedestal is the external and interior lighting control. MFD swap button. This will swap your left and right MFDs. The right pedestal contains your radio control panel. The SMS page contains your CMS configuration settings. Alright, you're ready to taxi. Set the parking brake located on the left panel to the off position. Begin taxi. Remember to turn off your APU. The F-22A rotates at 140 knots. Begin your takeoff roll. Raise your landing gear. Thank you for installing C-137's F-22A mod for VTOL VR. You now know how to cold start the Raptor. If you haven't already, check out the A-10D and F-16C mod. We also have included a link in the workshop description if you would like to buy us a T-55. We appreciate your support.
Over G, over G, over G, over G.